Hello class, and welcome to my course on expressions and equations. I'm Mrs. De Oliveira, and I will be guiding you through these 5 lessons to help deepen your understanding of algebra. So our first lesson deals with expressions. Part 1 is about identifying the different parts of an expression, and Part 2 deals with evaluating expressions. So each expression has a particular set of things in them. They have terms, which are the parts of the expression that are separated by an addition or subtraction sign. You have coefficients, which are numbers that are multiplied by the letter in an expression, also known as the variable. And you have a constant, which is just a regular number that does not have a variable attached to it. So as we look through our examples, we need to be able to pick out those 3 different parts. So here we have the expression 2x plus 8. So again, the terms are separated by a plus sign. So here we have 2 different pieces, 2 terms, separated by a plus sign. The 2x and the 8. So those are our 2 terms. The coefficients, again, are the numbers that are multiplied by the variable. So here we have one variable in our expression, so that means we have only one coefficient, and that is the coefficient of x, which is 2. And the constants, again, constants are just plain old numbers. So when we look at our expression, there is one constant term that has no variable attached to it, the number 8. And that's how you would identify the parts of an expression. Let's look at some more examples. So here we have a minus 4b. Now notice that the a does not have a number in front of it. When that is the case, that means that there's an invisible 1 there. So that's going to come in handy when we do our coefficients. So when looking at this expression, our terms are separated by a subtraction sign in this case. So we have 2 terms, the a, or the 1a, and a minus or a negative 4b. Those are our 2 terms. The coefficients, there are 2 coefficients because we have 2 terms with variables. We have a coefficient of a, which is 1, again that invisible 1 that we don't see, and we have the coefficient of b, which is negative 4. As we look back at our expression, there are no constants. There are no terms that have no variables in them. And that's it for this example. Now here we have 9a plus 5a minus 2a. So in this case, we have terms that are separated by a plus sign and a minus sign. So we have 3 terms in this particular problem, our 9a, the 5a, and the negative 2a. Our coefficients are 3 coefficients, because there are 3 terms with variables. They all go to the variable a. We have a 9, a 5, and a negative 2. And finally, as we look up at our expression, once again we have no constants. Every single term is attached to a variable. Our final example for this part of the lesson, we have d plus 10e minus 2f. So once again, we have terms that are separated by both a plus sign and a minus sign. So our 3 terms are 1d, again that invisible 1 that we don't always see, a 10e, and a negative 2f. Our coefficients, 3 of them. We have 3 terms with variables, so we have 3 coefficients. So the coefficient of D is 1, coefficient of E is 10, and the coefficient of F is -2. Finally, our constants, as we look back, every single term has a variable, so there are once again no constants in this example. So that's how you identify the different parts of an expression. You identify the terms, the coefficients, and the constants. For part 2, we're going to evaluate algebraic expressions and formulas. So, first things first, there are 2 types of expressions. We have a numerical expression and we have an algebraic expression. In a numerical expression, we can either have numbers and operations. Operations being addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In an algebraic expression, we can have numbers, operations, and also variables. Now, when they tell us the value of the variable in an algebraic expression, we can then substitute that number in, and then it turns into a numerical expression where we can get the value, we can evaluate it. So let's take a look at an example of evaluating an expression with one variable. So here we have an example, 4 times parentheses m minus 8, close parentheses, divided by 3, for m is equal to 14. So in this particular problem, they're giving us the value of the variable m. And we need to plug that in and figure out what the value of this expression is. So first things first, we're going to take the variable m and we're going to do a little magic and we're going to turn it into the number 14. So now we no longer have any variables. We have all numbers. It's now a numerical expression. Now that we have a numerical expression, we can use the order of operations to evaluate it. So first we look for parentheses. So inside of our parentheses we have 14 minus 8, which is equal to 6. And then we look for any exponents. No exponents in this problem. And then we look for multiplication or division, whatever comes first from left to right. So we have 4 times 6, which is 24. And finally, we have 24 divided by 3, which gives us the value of 8. And there's our value of our expression when m is equal to 14. This example tells us p squared plus 4 for p is equal to 6. So again, we're going to evaluate, we're going to plug in the number 6 wherever we see the variable p. And now we have a numerical expression of 6 squared plus 4. Then we use our order of operations. So in this particular expression, there's no parentheses, but there are exponents. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. As we look at our new expression, there's no multiplication or division, but there is addition. You do 36 plus 4, gives you 40, and you're done with this problem. The third example, now we have 2 variables. So we have the expression 7x plus y plus 16, and they tell us that x is equal to 14 and y is equal to 3. So we look at our expression, and wherever we see the variable x, it's going to turn into the number 14. And wherever we see the variable y, it's going to turn into the number 3. And now we go and we use our order of operations once again. So there's no work to be done in the parentheses, and there are no exponents, but we do have multiplication. 7 times 14 is 98. Bring everything else down. Then there's no other multiplication or division, so we do our addition. 98 plus 3 is 101. Then 101 plus 16 gives us 117, and that's our final answer. Our final example, again with two variables. So we have 8a plus 11 minus 2b. Now just as a reminder, 8a means 8 times a. So those are multiplications. The 8a and the 2b are multiplication. So again, wherever we see the variable a, we're going to change that into the number 4. And wherever we see the variable b, we're going to change that into the number 2. And we're going to use our order of operations. So we see here we have two multiplication problems. So we're going to get those done in one shot. So 8 times 4 is 32, and 2 times 2 is 4. Then we go left to right at our addition and subtraction. So 32 plus 11 is 43. And then 43 minus 4 is 39. So you need to have a very strong grasp of your order of operations in order to be successful with evaluating expressions. Thank you so much for viewing this lesson, and please don't forget to complete your assignment on the course site. Thank you.